You're looking for the answers. I still don't have them. But what I do have is a particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people who mislead, misinform, or misrepresent the sports card industry. So if you don't do that, I'll let it go. But if you do, I'm going to talk about you. Welcome to an impromptu episode of the Sports Card Investigator Show, but it's going to be a damn good one. I was on Twitter and I started talking about a guy about having a plan in sports cards, and I thought, first time oh, by the way, Tyler is here. First time, he's back from California. First time in 3 years this dynamic duo is going to hit the card show together, and we always go with a plan, right?
Yep, absolutely. And I think we'll have some fun with this one for tomorrow, and we're going to set the goal to actually spend no money. But not what it sounds like. It's not that we're not going to get anything, but I think that we really need to take time and consolidate our collection out. We want to be able to have the cards of the players that we like, that no matter what happens, we're going to enjoy collecting that player, but then also cards that we think are going to have a long-term value and maybe not necessarily just be a trend, which I think a lot of cards in today that are being really popular are potentially just trends.
And I think that's a good point, because as I said, Ty's been collecting cards for probably since we were 5, 6 years old.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I want to say 9, because I know for sure it was the year after LeBron's rookie year, because I have an abundance of second-year LeBron cards, but no rookie LeBron cards.
Right,
so.
And there's cards that I collected my whole life, and I shared some of them with you, but these are cards that, honestly, lack of better words, they don't mean anything to us. They don't have that value, that intrinsic value that we want to keep them forever. There's some cards that we'll never ever get rid of, and that's different. These are just cards that we've collected over the past 3, 4, 5 years together, and it's like, hey, let's speculate it, let's move on, and let's get something else. So, you want to share some of the cards?
Yeah, let's go through them from this wonderful Zion case here, you know.
That we're not getting sponsored.
That we are not sponsored.
Nor do I even have a percentage to give you off, but I think it's pretty easy to get 50% off. They hit you with emails.
So let's go through here. Let's see. Oh, I feel like this one is arguably one of the nicest ones in our collection right here that I think could be of hot value.
Yeah, I agree. This is one that I showed before. It's probably the nicest Zion that we own. It's out of 35, I think, or 33, Pop 1, and I showed this to you guys before. It's at In-Flight Auto, and we're looking to move it.
And you know, with Zion, I still am really high on Zion. I said before the season he's going to be an all-star, and he was an all-star starter, and he still had those, he's been injury-prone still going into this year. I think ultimately he's going to be a great player, but at the same time, it's like we're saying, like, I like Zion, but at the end of the day, in 20 years, I'm sure I'll appreciate him, but I just know there's going to be players that I appreciate way more, and I know that we're, at this point, this card's still extremely valuable, so I feel like we can use it better.
And we're not giving the cards away. It's got to hit. It's got to hit the number that we want, or it's just going back into the collection.
Absolutely, yeah, and we'll talk a little bit later about what we're looking for too, but I think that a lot of these cards fit that similar theme where it's not that I don't like these players, it's just that I feel like there's better long-term answers.
Correct.
So, like, here's another one in that situation, like Giannis. Like, this is the Giannis Hoops, which I got from a card store, I want to say, in California for like $50, and that's definitely a great investment, but I think that I would rather have a like Prism Giannis and maybe consolidate to.
I don't remember what the high with this card at one point. It was about $800 to $1,000. It was ridiculous.
And even like probably one of my best. I didn't do this on purpose. But these are the ones that I was buying off eBay during COVID times.
Bought 2 of these for $60. Steph Curry. When people are like, "Why would you buy that card?" Well, this card's, I think the last comp I saw was over $1,000.
My thought, I want to say it's like it's dropped a little bit now. I think it's like $800 for the last sale on eBay, but if there has been some over $1,000. But I know my thought process is Steph doesn't really have too many cards where he's actually playing basketball.
100%. Yep.
But there is a card where he's not playing basketball. It's actually just a personal favorite that we'll talk a little bit about later. Another one, Josh Allen, like, great player, but again, like, as an Eagles fan, like, I just have a hard time rooting for non-Eagles players.
It's a nice card. I thought it would grade out well. Shot it in. I think that was a $10 grade at the time, and came back at 10, and that's gonna bring back some good money.
This one I feel like is a crazy story. I still remember you texted me. You're like, "Hey, this guy just gave me a blaster and pulled this out. Do you even know what this is?" And it took us a hot second to figure out it was a purple
wave, and the pop is like 35 on this thing, and this was literally pulled out a $19 blaster.
This one, obviously, I feel like...
Yeah, this card has a video to it. You guys want to go by. I put a minimum grade on this thing as a 9 or an 8, and it came back non-graded. I shot it back, and it came back as a 9. I don't understand the value of this card. It's not that rare, but again, to be able to trade up and get something that we really want, that's all it's about.
Now, here's two interesting ones. These two right here, two Jalen Hurts cards that I have a hard time finding any comps for at all. The
It's
value...
a Black Prism Auto. It's a SCG. And it's a 10 on the SGC. It's a 10 and a 9.5 on the auto.
And I think I found like a BGS or like it was a PSA, but it was like an 8 and a 9, but nothing around there. And then this Spectra Reactive Orange, there's no comps at all online. And that's where it gets interesting because I think Jalen Hurts is a player that I want to collect long term, and I really do believe in him.
It's out of 15.
And with those being like such rare cards, it's almost like I feel like I want to hold on to them since you're not going to find another card
I know,
like
it's kind of torn. I'm actually was going to talk to you about that. Are you sure we want to give one of these up? I don't know. The price has to be, it's got to be for something you really want to get.
I agree, and that's where I'm getting into the long-term value, though, where I think cards that aren't necessary, like, I feel like a Spectra card maybe doesn't hold long-term value, but if you, I do, this is the one that if I were to hold one, the Auto Orange, but, like, even, like, I almost would say, like, go with the green. Like, I like, even though the green, I think, is out of 35 of a Prism,
match, yeah.
It's the Eagles, but then also, I love Kabooms, and I know, like, we joke about Kabooms, but I think Kabooms is just such a nice-looking card. And this is this time is where so many people got into cards, especially the younger generation, to where I think Kabooms are going to hold the nostalgic value 20 years from now,
yeah.
Where a Spectra or just like a random like orange Prism may not, when like everyone knows what Kabooms are right now. So
Yep.
In my head, like a 2022, that season's always going to hold a special place for Eagles fans. I think right now it's a tough spot, but it'll always have like a good memory. So 2022 Kaboom.
The other thing about this card, I really like it in this holder because I think the colors are really cool. The way
it does look nice.
It pops nice. Maybe I was debating whether to cross it over. Also, not that it makes a big deal, but it's a 75 out of 75. So
it's eBay 101.
A little bit, right? eBay 101, but.
Now, there also is a good, an interesting point too with being the Philly show is Philly players. Because I go back and forth of thinking, is it good to get rid of Philly players? Is it good to buy them? Is it a bad time to do it? So like we have this like Alec Boehm.
Auto Refractor.
And I think
it's a great card.
I go back and forth because I think there's going to be an abundance of Philly players being sold.
Right.
So,
but it's also a Philly crowd.
There's going to be a lot of people who they know if they trade for him now, they're probably going to be able to get rid of it at some point during the same show, especially with we're going on Saturday and Sundays. They have a whole nother day to be able to get rid of it.
And if we use it as a trade,
that's what I'm thinking. They're not going to want to keep taking in Philly players, especially at the Philly show, because they want to get rid of them. But there's also an abundance, so it'll be interesting to see how Philly players go at the Philly shows, because I do think this is my first time being at a Philly show since COVID.
3 or 4 years ago, right?
It's a very different time in sports cards.
So that's really, we have a lot more, but we figured that's an idea. That's a little insight into what we're thinking. So that's it for now. Ty, you want to wrap anything up?
Yeah, no, I'm just excited to be at the show. It's going to be my first big show in quite a while. I've been to some small ones in California, so I'm just excited to see everyone and kind of just have fun with it, see where it goes. And we have a plan, but at the same time, you never know what's going to happen, and that's a lot of the fun too. So just excited.
I just hope we run into Neo or Dustin or Flippin' Steve. That would be exciting.
I know. I feel like it's going to be like running into celebrities.
I can't even wait. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, I hope to see you there. Hey, so here we are at the Philadelphia Card Show. It is amazing. It is crowded, and we're walking around. The first people we bump into is... What a coincidence. This was not planned, right? This was not planned.
It absolutely was not. 1,000% no. It was
just
not.
Walking by.
Actually, Andy just pushed me in the back, and I was about to turn around, but yeah.
Well, Tyler said, I think there's Dustin over there. I'm like, no way. There's Dustin over there. So what do you got? What time did you guys get here? You do anything?
I got in last night.
like 5 p.m. I think. So I had a couple hours on the show floor
You did
last
your
night.
live, right? With
Yeah, I
the
went live
sketchy
last night with the
Wi-Fi.
sketchy Wi-Fi. We pulled it together for the back half
It
though.
wasn't bad at all. And then you got 2 cards, right?
Yes.
You got the Mobley and
Mobley Contenders Optic or Contenders Auto and a Ramirez 93 SP.
you got a sweet deal on that Mobley
Yes.
too. So what's the game plan for today?
Just walking around, hanging out, just meeting people.
Eating
I was looking
some
for
food.
you. I've spent the last 2 hours looking for you. Finally
I told
found
you,
you.
just look for the camera crew and it'll be right there.
Yeah, find a Philly cheesesteak somewhere, and then yeah, that's it. I'm really spending Steve's money. Steve,
that what it is?
Steve's the one that's kind of here looking for specific cards. I'm
Are
just
you
tagging
here?
along.
We know the backstory. Are you here on a budget?
Yeah,
Are we
Actually,
cleared?
yeah, it's 0. So the budget's 0, which makes it pretty easy. I have my trade bait here, and then yeah, that's it.
And what looking for what? Non-sports
A Willie
stuff?
Mays. A Willie Mays, either a 51 Bowman or 52 Tops. I already have my eyes on a 51 Bowman, and we're trying to come to the right price.
Trade, cash, both.
Cash for that, and then there's a Magic Johnson Exquisite Patch Auto back there that I would like to trade up into with some of my lower end basketball autos. That's the 2 cards right now that I'm actually going to go back for and actually try to put in a deal for. But we'll see if they're willing to move on their end.
So you'll let everyone know how you made out.
Oh yeah, I
eventually,
will.
right?
Yeah, I will. I film every now and then on my phone, but you know.
And we know Dustin's along for the ride. That's okay. Are you looking
Yeah.
for anything else special?
I picked up a couple other baseball cards this morning, and then it's kind of whatever I run into. And then trade night tonight. You never know what's going to happen on trade night.
No, of course. What do you guys thinking? First impression of the crowd's great, obviously, right?
Yeah, very busy.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to walk around a little bit and get up to the tables, honestly. I was glad I got here last night to do like one quick lap, kind of low key.
Good, some reconnaissance.
Yeah, the whole like Dallas and what's Nashville, that hasn't affected this show at all. I think that was kind of the the worry is like, oh, you have 3 huge shows in one weekend.
And from what I've noticed, and Steve, you could probably try. This is a lot of vintage. If you're looking for
Yeah.
vintage, this is probably one of the
There's
shows
some
to go
vintage.
to, right?
Yeah, and also the location used to be in the Valley Forge Convention Center, was very congested, especially with the autograph signers, the lines coming out and through. This is way more spread out, but it still feels very crowded.
It does.
And
it does.
and I believe they probably have gotten more tables in here with the venue, the floor
I
being.
heard,
I think there's
200
more
to
floor
300, what do you
space.
think, 300 tables.
Yeah, there's a
200
lot of tables in here. I mean, it's very spread out, but it's also congested at the same time. So that means there's people here.
I think it's advertised as 190 dealers, so I don't know how many tables that
But
equals
each
out
dealer
to, though.
probably has
Yeah.
4 or 5
tables,
apiece,
though,
so-
yeah.
Any impression on as far as prices? People they wanting to move stuff, or
I've had fairly decent luck price-wise. I've definitely run into some like they're double what the last comp was, but I'd probably say 60-40 on the fair side to the overpriced side.
That's
So it
good
does
to
seem like
see.
it kind of swung back a little bit to the more reasonably priced at least.
a lot of wax.
Not actually not a ton.
Yeah, just
I mean,
on the
there's
back
definitely
wall.
some, but
Yeah.
It
It seems like for the more, because you said there's a lot of vintage, where there's more common stuff, like I saw like a PSA 8 Joe Montana rookie card that was like right in line with comps, but like stuff like that that's fairly available seems like it's priced just right. For what you're looking for, 51 Bowman Mays, it's like people are being a lot more,
The
you know.
vintage stuff seems high in comparison to the comps, but it doesn't necessarily matter what the grade is on the vintage. You know, a comp can be $1,000 off just because of the eye appeal of the card. And I'm not very versed in the vintage. I'm new to it, so I'm trying to find my comfort zone when I want to come in on a card and feel safe with the price.
So you came in with the plan, like you were looking
Yeah.
for that specific card.
Yeah, I
right?
kind of have the budget for that set card, and then my budget for everything else.
I'm thinking about buying like 20 blasters tonight, and we'll go to your hotel and just rip them. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Right?
Let's do it.
That's a plan. That's a
There you
good
go,
plan. But all right, so look, we'll walk around. I'm sure we'll bump into you guys again. I'm excited. I'm so glad we saw each other, meet in person.
yeah.
So we'll talk soon. You guys are all going to tell everyone how you guys ended up doing.
Yep.
We'll do the same.
Absolutely.
We'll go from there. Thanks, guys.
All right. Good seeing you,
Hey,
Andy.
brother. Thanks to me. All right, so we're here. We made it. We're going to start our walk around, see what we can find. The goal is to
Not spend any money. Let's go for those trades.
go for the trades. If we get it, not, we live to fight another day.
All right, see what happens. Let's get after it. Ours graded is worth, I looked it up. No, not even. It's like 125 or something.
It's in better shape than that.
So like that's ridiculous. 4 times value. I feel like Bryce is underrated, card-wise.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of his cards.
But still, like, he's arguably one of, like, the best baseball players.
I know.
I don't know, I'm kind of out of the Funko game these days.
Oh, no. Trade a Burrow 10 for it?
What? Hard.
Rookie
Base,
Prism.
Prism base.
That's a hard no.
Who you looking for?
What am I looking for? Yeah. Look at it? Yep. Really cool. I don't know. Anything.
Thing about card shows is people upcharge like 5x the price. He made it clear that he doesn't care about the actual value of the cards. Which at that point, how do you negotiate?
Right.
How much are you looking for the Embiid?
So I got 430 on it. The last one did 433. So I looked for 4.
4, you said? Are you open to trading at all?
Take a look. So if I were to do this, where would you be cash on top? Where could we get to?
So what do these three come down at?
275. And you said 4 for it?
Four?
And I'd want to be trade value. I have 430 on it, probably close to 420-ish.
So 275. I'm not great at math. 400 minus 275 is a buck and a
150,
quarter, right?
150 would.
Buck and a quarter?
145.
45? 120?
130 in the middle.
We got last listing price, and we got a player who I think is an all-time player.
Yep.
And a rookie card and a 10. Color match.
Yeah, I like that.
And if he brings the city a championship, forget it.
If my name was John, I'd get the Elvis. It says to John, Elvis. That's impressive.
Logo on it.
It's an awesome patch. 10 of 10.
That's nuts.
Awesome cards. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So what you guys think? Pretty cool, huh? Oh, disclaimer, everything you saw on that was not staged. I know there's been a lot of that going around, so wanted to make that perfectly clear. But hey, what a great time. Had Tyler back. We introduced Dan to cards. Dan to cards the right way, organically. Didn't say a word. Dan, you want to go to a card show? Sure, I'll go. I'll even film it for you guys. Wonderful. And he fell in love with cards. Actually, he's going to be tagging along when we go to the National. And when we go to the National, we have another game plan. We're probably going to be buying some cards, which is awesome. Before I forget, Here it is in all of its glory. Joel Embiid. It's an absolutely gorgeous card, and it's a pleasure to add this to our collection. So that's it for this wonderful, fantastic, crazy good episode of the Sports Card Investigator Show. If you like what you see, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you don't like what you see, do it anyway. And until next time, take care.